This is the Rays POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Tampa Bay Rays POSTCAST, your spot for instant Rays reaction after every single game. My name is Jonathan Shields. Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at John10Shields. I guarantee you that's the most active maybe I'll ever be during a game, because I'll answer the own question in the thumbnail for you guys. This was the worst loss of the season for the Rays. It's just an embarrassing performance from two pitchers specifically. Just kind of malpractice with handling the bullpen in the last two innings. And then, the offense, it's so weird to say when your offense scores 9 runs that they couldn't catch a break, but the offense didn't catch a break. 2 reviews that are bang, bang, don't go their way. And I am shocked that the Magnum review took that, just like that, took 2 seconds. Shocked. We can be upset at the umpire. We can be upset at the reviews. At the end of the day, what this game comes down to, the Rays had first and second, nobody out in the 6th. First and second, nobody out in the 7th. Bases loaded with 1 out in the 8th. And a runner on third in the 9th. With all that, they combined to score 1 run. At the end of the day, that's on situational hitting. That is on Danny Jansen grounding into a double play. That's on Jonathan Rana grounding into a double play. And that kind of sequence, it just sums up tonight for the Rays. But, we're going to talk about everything you see here, how Taj and Kevin Kelly were just the worst maybe they've been all year, how incredibly frustrating this series was, how we're going to, again, try to be optimistic at some point during this episode. Big missed opportunity to gain ground. Mariners lost today. Red Sox won. So you're still a game and a half back. And then we're going to look ahead to the Cincinnati series. First, we're going to go right into the debacle that was the 8th inning.
This is what you'll be talking about.
And we're going to double that up because the 8th inning was indeed the turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Let me lay out the situation for some people saying, well, why wasn't Clevenger in? Why wasn't Uceta in? There are pitchers, when they pitch a certain amount of innings, Clevenger pitched back-to-back games. Now, you could argue, why did Clevenger pitch when it was 8-3 on Monday anyway? That's a completely different situation. Uceta pitched 2 innings yesterday. You use guys throughout the series that don't allow them to be available today. The last 2 pitchers that were available today were Kevin Kelly and Ian Seymour. And Seymour is a multi-inning guy. The bottom of the White Sox lineup has Montgomery, lefty. Rojas, the third baseman, lefty. Baldwin, the left fielder. Wait for it. Switch hitter, which is fine. But let's go look at his splits against lefties. This year, against lefties, he is hitting 20 points lower. There is no reason for Kevin Kelly to face either of those 3 guys. Look, it happens. You're a reliever, right? You're going to get banged up. It happens. Taj, I get it. You're going to start hopefully 30 games in a season, probably more. You're going to get banged up twice a season. I get it. But, how many times have I said the job as a manager is to put your guys in the best situation to succeed? Kevin Kelly was throwing a beach ball down the middle of the plate. I probably could have gotten a hit. I mean, when you're throwing 91 with no movement right down the middle and your sweeper is nowhere near the zone, not to mention you're throwing almost more balls than strikes, you're not going to be successful. Your manager needs to go sense that and warm up Seymour, not when there's already a run in and a runner on first and second. He needs to be up, ready to go face Montgomery. There's no reason why Montgomery should have faced Kevin Kelly. And it's as simple as that. Yes, Kevin Kelly wasn't good tonight. In fact, this was the worst he's maybe ever looked in a professional jersey. But there has to be some accountability on Kevin Cash for having him in the game that long. It is completely unacceptable. I get the argument the bullpen is dead. Ian Seymour is a starter. And I understand he's in the bullpen. All year he's been a starter. He can go those 2 innings. And you shouldn't be worried about extra innings. You're up 2 runs against a team that's 30 games under 500. There should be no worrying about these 2 innings. These are the game right here. This 8th inning is the game right here. And not only does he leave Kelly in, Kelly proceeds to be even worse to the next 3 hitters as he was the first 3. and that might be a little dramatic. He wasn't as worse. Cabby, who I was raving about, and I will continue to rave about. He has been fantastic. But man, I love Doug Weichert. Doug Weichert is an amazing analyst. Cabby had his feet set on that throw to home. He just airmailed it by 5 feet, which I get. It was a hard hit ball, and you got to get it out. Luis Roberts streaking the line. I get it, and that it's tough to swallow. But it's okay. Errors happen too. It's just all of this happened for the Rays in one inning. Or I guess in a span of 3 innings. The bad calls from the umps, the mismanagement by Kevin Cash, the error from Caminero. How many errors does Cabby have playing like 9 different positions this year? Like, you got to give him some slack at the end of the day. But I mean, it is just so incredibly frustrating I'm like screaming at my TV. Why is Kevin Kelly still in the game to face those 3 batters? And I mean, it was shocking that Seymour wasn't up at the same time. In fact, I would have went to Seymour before Kelly, to be completely honest with you. But if you look at this, it's just mammoth 8th inning that they had. They let Kevin Kelly face 3 guys that bat left-handed, and the 4th hits worse as a lefty than a righty. The fact that Kevin Kelly even got the Talkman is beyond comprehension for me. And very rarely do I get on here and act like this. Like, very rarely. I mean, there would probably be, I don't know if there'll be another time this season where I get on I'm this passionate about something, because I have so much respect for Kevin Cash as a manager. I think Kevin Cash is still one of the 3 best managers in the game. There is nothing in my mind that will take that away. For example, I thought the fact that he had the cojones to pinch hit Morel for Josh Lowe after Josh Lowe already got 2 hits and a big hit against the lefty, I thought that was 100% the right thing to do. And Morel laces 102 off the bat that had a 550 exit batting average that, Rojas made a great play on it. But, so that's why I'm always very cautious to criticize managers, especially one that I hold in such high regard like Kevin Cash. But with something like this, I think it is more than warranted. And I think that this is worse than his decision to play Junior at first against the Phillies when Junior's never played first base in his MLB career. It's worse than some of the other bullpen, malfunctions that the Rays have had this year. But at the end of the day, I thought the bullpen was really freaking good outside of Kevin Kelly. The fact that you're going to ask them to cover 7 1/3 innings is almost impossible, to be completely honest with you. And they were close, and it got down to not bringing in Seymour a little bit earlier. Like, if you bring Seymour, not even to bring it facing Montgomery, if you get him hot and ready to come in and face, Rojas, who I know he ground out to walls anyway, but just so you don't have to, keep going down this line. It's just something that I really would have considered. I went way too long on that rant. So if you guys have any comments about any sort of that, what I just said, please let me know. Again, this is your time to vent, but the season's not over. There's like 58 games left. The Rays are a game and a half out from a playoff spot. It is okay. It's okay to be frustrated. We should be frustrated. The standard that this organization has is not to lose the teams 30 games under 500. That's just not the standard. But it'll be okay. The Rays still have everything in front of them. But we still have so much to talk about that 20 minutes can't even do this show justice, and we'll get to so much more right after this. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. So you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. The best thing to me about Monarch, it takes out, things like takeout or subscriptions that add up without you even expecting it. And it shows you how you can get rid of it and use that money to build your wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Again, if you guys are in the live, please leave a like, comment. This is your area to vent about what was just a punch in the gut, then a punch in the face, then a punch in the gut again, and then a punch in the liver, which is really what that game felt like. And it's tough because a lot of the times, in 162 games, the effort won't be there every single game. I get that. The Rays battled this game. That's what makes it even tougher to swallow. Like every single person on the team, especially on offense, wanted this game. You could see it, and most of the time it's just one or two players. No, it was all whatever. How many position players are active? 13, 14 guys that were active were in there ready to play. And, yeah, but we got to talk about Taj Bradley because look, you can't be an MLB pitcher and be as inconsistent as Taj. And again, you're going to have 2-3 starts a year in Doug Wechter, who again just does a great job on color. I mean, Doug Wechter is a ultimate bro. He gives such great perspective and understanding for a pitcher, mostly because he was a pitcher. But he talks about this stuff happens. This stuff with Taj happens, which I agree with. You start like 30 games a year. If you make every start something around that, you're gonna have 3 starts a year that are really bad. And then, but for Taj, man, it's not even that. Like, yes, this one and the one against the Orioles are probably the 2 worst. But there's been too many times this season where you look at him, he's like, man, that can be a number 2 in your rotation. And then it's like, man, how is that guy above Double-A? And one of those outings just so happened to be today. He had that stretch, 7 runs given up against Miami, 5 against the Mets, 6 against Baltimore, 5 against Baltimore again. And, again, it looks like he came out of it and was doing it really well. But again, it's just another step back. And again, I don't know what the plan is. I doubt the Rays trade him. The Rays are not going to trade an arm like Taj Bradley that has 4 years of control unless they're just blown away with an offer. But man, I mean, this inconsistency needs to be studied because he's too talented to continue to be this inconsistent. And yes, he's young. Yes, he's young. He has all the ability in the world, but at the end of the day, he somehow needs to put it together consistently. And I always try to give the players the benefit of the doubt. And wow, they just optioned Taj Bradley to AAA. That is actually insane. Directly after the game, I don't know if I've ever seen that before. So, never mind. I guess that is. I see. I just clicked the comments after I looked at that, and Sarah Parker is 100% right. Mark Tompkin, just said that Taj Bradley just got optioned. I've never seen that so quickly after a game. So the Rays are fed up also with it. So Gary asked who's going to replace him in the rotation. Boyle, I would assume so. I don't know, but Boyle just pitched today. I don't know if he can be stretched back out enough. I mean, this is as Mike says, have to make room for McClanahan. This is not for McClanahan. I can guarantee you that. I don't know. I mean, the Rays probably feel the heat a little bit too. They go play 7 straight on the road. The Rays need a winning road trip. Simple as that. But okay, before we get to the comments, let's talk about some positives. Offense was really good today, specifically Josh Lowe. The fact that he was able to get that hit left on left, absolutely huge. Yandy Jr., again, continue to be solid. Aranda looks back to himself pre-All-Star break. He was really good. I cannot overstate how impressed I've been with Jose Caminero. I mean, he has just been the consummate pro the last 2 games in the batter's box. I mean, he has been just fantastic. The fact that he went from not playing every day to playing 2 straight days, and this was probably I know he had the Grand Slam earlier this year. This might be his best game as a Ray, and that's with him, having that error. I thought he was fantastic tonight, and in a game that's so pessimistic, in a game that is so frustrating for fans. The fact that there should be some good to take away from this game, specifically what Jose Caballero did. And I mean, again, I'm shocked that they sent him down so quickly. I mean, that is just crazy. But let's quickly preview the Reds game, and then we will get right to your guys' comments because I know that there is a boatload of them. So if you guys have comments, drop them in. And Friday night, the Rays will play the Reds. And again, the Reds have a really good left-handed pitcher. I saw him play in person when I went to regular this year. Abbott, he was an all-star. The Rays faced him in game 2. They faced Nick Martinez in game 1 with Zach Littell on the mound. This is a game the Rays need to win. His last time out, he gave up 2 earned 5 innings against the Mets. His last start before the All-Star break, 10 runs on 7 hits against the Marlins. So this is not like a world beater by any means. This is someone that the Rays need to attack early and often. Simple as that. For the Rays, Zach Littell, I mean, we know Zach Littell is just consistent as ever. Hopefully he continues that. But without further ado, let's get to the comments as we go to Mike's first. He said, I like Cash, but he blew this game. If you look at Kelly's body language as he's warming up the bullpen, not good, no control, no confidence. Cash didn't have anyone warming up. Again, you have 2 relievers available to you. Like Kelvin Kelly is going to have to pitch at some point. I don't hate that, Kelly went in. It's the fact he was in for too long. Like, again, your hands are tied. Clevenger is down. You already use Engler. You already lose Boyle. You already use again Baker. I mean, go down the list of who's down. But yeah, as Ray said, guess the ump was a White Sox fan. Yeah, I mean, the thing with the umpire, if human error is a part of baseball, it's just kind of what's suspected at this point. If you're gonna call a strike the entire game, it needs to be a strike. You can't switch up in the 8th inning and start calling it a ball. Again, I think blaming umpires in a game that has so many twists and turns like baseball is kind of silly. But he did make some egregious calls. But at the end of the day, I don't think it affected the complete outcome of the game, if that makes sense. As we go to Clifton Gibson, who this also might be a first-time commenter if it is. Welcome. He says 100% on Calvin Cash. I don't know what I was watching. Again, hands kind of tied there, but yeah, I 100% agree. As we go to Michael, he says everyone's going to blame Kevin Cash, but Eric Nylander is to blame for this too. It's been evident all season long. He has one effective pitch where you send down Orsi instead of him for no reason. I was on the Eric Orsi train to obviously stay up. I'm a big fan of Orsi, but yeah, I think Kelly might be the next one to go down. Kind of right away if this can't get figured out. As we go to Ari, also might be a first-time commenter. He says, can't get a Rays jersey with a player's name on the back because they never stayed long. Rays need to keep more valuable players for fans' sakes, like my boy Taylor Walls. Yeah, I mean, Yandy Diaz has been here for a pretty long time, so is Brandon Lau. But yeah, I mean, that's just the way the Rays operate. So again, a lot of these comments are kind of what's it called? Are kind of similar. As we go to Corey with one different here. I love my Rays, but these past 3 weeks have been bad. It's more likely that this is who we are as a team this year, considering they have more bad stretches than good ones. This is what I've been fearing, and something that I didn't, want to say on the postcast because the season's so long. There's still so long left. Like, remember, think about the COVID season where the Rays went, 40-20. We have right around those many games left in the season, a little bit less. Like, there is still an eternity to go. But the more I watch this team, the more I agree with this comment that, that this team might be good, but not great. They might be good enough to sneak in the playoffs, but probably not good enough to win more than a series, and I don't want to believe that. I still kind of believe in this team that if they can get in the playoffs and get in the playoffs healthy, I mean, I guess you say it for any team in MLB, they can, cause some damage. But, this is a gut punch, a throat punch, a liver punch, kind of all in once, this game. And again, it is easy to overreact. I might have done it during this episode, but that's the fan in me. The analyst in me looks back and say, and this is what everyone listening, I want to hear this. I think there's 57, 58 games left this season. The Rays are a game and a half back from a playoff spot. Just hear that sentence. If you'd have told me that in March, that on July 23rd, the Rays would be a game and a half out from a playoff spot, I would say, I would take that every day of the week. So there are still things to be optimistic about. This was maybe a more pessimistic episode, but sometimes the situation calls for it, and that's what is so great about the postcast. You guys get my raw fan reaction to a lot of it, but there's also got to be time where you got to see it from an analyst point of view or a larger point of view. The Rays season isn't over with this loss. The Rays aren't going to miss the playoffs now all of a sudden. Like, the Rays season isn't over today. The Rays have to go on Friday and play in Cincinnati. At the end of the day, they got to go play a baseball game. And that's the beautiful part about this game. There's so many ups and downs. There's so many situations within the game that can cause, different outcomes of the game. Even then, I mean, even when Cabby walks and it's first and third, I was texting my buddy. It's like, does he steal first pitch? When does he go? Is he going to go? It's just like the game within the game. And there's so much that within a singular game that it's hard to overanalyze one game. This was a tough loss, everyone, but it's not the end of the world. This Rays team fights. They're a team of fighters. And I firmly believe that they will fight back going into this just massive, massive road trip going into the trade deadline. So again, wherever you guys may be listening, watching, make sure you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe. Enjoy the off day tomorrow, and I will see you guys on Friday night.